Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. In many parts of the country today, protests erupted on all sides of the ideological divide on the issue of solidarity with JNU and those who believe that JNU is an institute of treason and anti-nationalism. It's interesting how this narrative has played out in the last few days after the arrest of KANHAIYA, the JNU Students' Union president. Well, there have been a number of developments in the story today as well, but what we decided to do was to bring in a large number of students here from Delhi University as well as JNU and to connect to students across campuses in India on what they think of how nationalism is being defined today, how can one define nationalism in today's times, and who exactly will decide who is anti-national. But first, bringing you up to speed on today's news developments, one of the big things that has happened today is that KANHAIYA has filed a bail plea in the Supreme Court. It will be heard tomorrow, and one of those lawyers who is representing him is the former Attorney General of India, Mr. Sodhi Sorabji. He has cited his own security as one of the reasons for applying for this bail. Also significantly, the lawyers who have been caught on camera beating up JNU teachers, students and media persons at the Patiala House courts and then again assaulting KANHAIYA when he was brought into Patiala House court yesterday, they have defied a police summons to appear, and for 2 days now no action has been taken against them. In fact, they've been on social media boasting about teaching anti-nationals a lesson. And in the third development that has just happened this evening, we've seen the first NDA ally Ram Vilas Paswan speak out and express his sympathies for KANHAIYA and express his support for JNU overall as an institution. Let's get straight into our debate tonight. We have Swara Bhaskar, who is an alumni of JNU and an actress today by profession. Aditya Mukherjee is back with us, professor from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Saurav Kumar, Joint Secretary of the ABVP here in Delhi. Mr. R.P. Singh of the BJP and former Union Minister Manish Tiwari here in the studio with us. We have Mr. Ratan Sharda of the RSS joining us tonight from Mumbai. But let me first, look at this definition of nationalism and ask Swara that question first. Because today these protests that we've seen, whether it's this march for JNU or against JNU, everyone's saying you're a patriot, you're not a patriot. Yeah. And do you think we've become very, very polarized today over this question?
Well, I think definitely, I think that we have become very, very polarized on the issue and on not just the events that happen in JNU and the alleged anti-India sloganeering, but also on the fallout of what happened. And I think that this whole question of how, within quotes, anti-nationals or Deshdrohis should be dealt with, everyone has an opinion. And I would really like to say that I think that some sections of the media have played a very irresponsible role in whipping up this mass hysteria. There are some channels that are literally holding media trials of what should be done with these students, what should not be done. And I think that in general there is a lot of very, very problematic kind of the propagation of what I would call like a hooligan nationalism, where and in the public imagination there is a very, very rampant discourse that it's okay to break the bones of people who are allegedly anti-national. I would just like to point out at this point that there is no proof at this moment that the Delhi police has on anything. We don't even know if the videos have been verified properly. Who is actually raising the anti-national slogans? It is actually not clear. Yesterday, 3 members of the ABVP resigned in JNU, saying that the people who were raising the slogans had their faces covered. So I think that it is totally polarized, and I think it's a very scary situation.
Mr. Singh, as a member of the BJP, how do you see nationalism as defined by you and your party today? Because can there be any one idea of nationalism in a country as big and diverse as India?
Oh, no, I'll answer that later on. First issue is on JNU. None of us are brushing JNU as bad. Let's be clear on this, because this is the perception which is built now. No BJP member, no one. I mean, we are against anyone who's brushing JNU as bad.
Mr. Mahesh Giri called it a hub of treason.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm the national secretary of the party. I'm saying so on record.
He's a member of parliament.
I'm saying so on record. But there are individuals, there are factions, there are sections within the JNU who has chanted slogans India ki barbadi tak. And I'm sorry, I mean, and using religion as a pretext or a ground to say so, inshallah, I'm not against any religion myself. I myself come from a minority, but then saying inshallah, India ki barbadi tak. I mean, that's bad. I'm using religion as a tool to say all that. The issue is, this perception is built that as if we are against GNU or against GNUites, nothing of that sort. Let's be clear on this. Yes, anyone who talks about dividing country into parts, dividing Mother India into parts, or saying that Mother India should be divided into 9 more parts, Manipur, Nagaland, Kashmir, Warangal and all that. That's anti-national. In the context of JNU, I'm saying so, not in a wider term. But in context of JNU, if that is being done there or that is being propagated there, is anti-national. I'm categorical. I mean, and no one, we can't take that anyone can say that we can divide country into parts. And all those.
So you're saying that's where you draw the line?
No, in context with JNU in specific.
Okay, Manish Tiwari, how do we define nationalism? It's interesting because Fali Nariman wrote this very powerful piece the other day, giving us a context about how the sedition law actually came into being, what its definition is. And he and Swaminathan Iyer have pointed out about how people have made slogans even about dividing India, against India, but unless there's an incitement to violence and actual violence takes place, it doesn't really amount to sedition as per the law. But, what R.P. Singh says, do you agree with that, that there has to be this line about, what defines nationalism today? Anyone calling for the breakup of the country, for instance?
Nidhi, in the year 1775, a gentleman called Samuel Johnson uttered and wrote some very prophetic lines. And he said, and I quote, he says, patriotism is the last resort of scoundrels. No mature democracy in the world discusses patriotism in the manner in which it has been debased in this country, for the simple reason that it is a very thin subterfuge to really thrust an authoritarian, fascist narrative down people's throats. Anybody familiar with the history of Nazism, if you would go back to the period between 1933 and 1936, this was precisely the language and this was precisely the narrative which was used to browbeat an alternative opinion. On the question of what happened in JNU, those slogans may have been objectionable. In fact, at this point in time, there is no evidence that the person who has been arrested, he had even raised those slogans. But did they tantamount to criminality? Did they tantamount to sedition? The answer is no. The Supreme Court of India has very categorically defined that only an incitement to violence, which leads to violence, can be called sedition. So therefore, raising slogans, and there are umpteen cases from the Khalistan case, to even Binayak Sen's case, where the courts have dealt extensively with the definition of what sedition means. So therefore, the Delhi police has A, wrongly invoked the law, and B, I do not think it lies in the mouths of those people who call a certain section of students in JNU seditious or anti-national, then to be in truck with the PDP in Jammu and Kashmir, which has the same position as those students did on the Afzal Guru execution. So therefore, there is an inherent contradiction in the manner in which this government has behaved, and I think as a responsible state, it is time that this government realizes it's made a mistake. I'll give you one small example. I'll give you one small example. Prakash Singh Badal, the Chief Minister of Punjab today, in 1984, burnt the Constitution of India outside Parliament House. They have no difficulty in running a government with them. The ASU used to routinely burn the Constitution of India during the Assam agitation. They have no problems in talking to the AGP. The NSCN, with whom they announced a much touted accord last year, they have no difficulty in talking to somebody who continues to wage an armed war against the Indian state.
Let me get Mr. Singh's response. Yeah. So,
no. Who's talking about Nazism? Who's talking about Hitler? People who brought emergency to this country. I mean, you're talking about Nazism, Hitler.
But you're supposed to be better than them.
Allow me to complete. I never uttered a word.
Well, that's the weakest excuse which they have to throw back at us.
No, that's not done, Manish. When you were saying so, I never uttered a word.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
People who talk about who brought emergency to this country, they're talking about Nazism, they're about Hitler. Everyone knows who was authoritarian in this country. And as for Afzal Guru and you're saying Afzal, you can equalize Afzal Guru as your heroes, Probably Mr. Rahul Gandhi can do that. And I remember Ms. Sonia Gandhi couldn't sleep all that night when Batla House encounter happened.
Actually, the PDP has said that the hanging of Afzal Guru is a travesty of justice. The PDP is your ally in jail.
They call Afzal Guru Shaheed.
He is not a Shaheed.
One second.
He is not a Shaheed.
Mr. Singh,
you can acknowledge them as a Shaheed. But
your own ally says it though.
issue is bigger than this.
आपके लिए नहीं है ना, वो PDP के लिए तो है, जिसके साथ आप सरकार चला रहे हो।
होगा अफजल गुरु उनके लिए होगा, हमारे लिए नहीं है।
वो तो आपके सहयोगी है ना जम्मू और कश्मीर में।
अफजल गुरु का इशू ही नहीं है, आप अफजल गुरु पे जा रहे हैं। मैं अफजल गुरु का इशू नहीं है।
Why did you form a government with them?
Please allow me to complete, ma'am. Please allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. It's not Afzal Guru. If you talk about Afzal Guru has been happening there since almost 3 years. I have documents and paper on record and posters on record from JNU. They have been talking about Afzal Guru, Shahadat, everything. And to this extent, shall I quote a word and you'll be shocked. It said, I mean, it's shaming. Bhukha nanga is Hindustan, jaan se pyara Pakistan.
Sir, there is no evidence that this
slogan
was raised.
I'll give you evidence.
Sorry.
These
are all rumors you are spreading,
Take
sir.
this evidence from me. I'll give you evidence. Take this when you go. Leave this debate. I'll give you evidence. Now, who will accept this? Bhukha nanga Hindustan, jaan se pyara Pakistan. Only Rahul Gandhi can accept it. Sonia Gandhi can accept it.
Sir, a lot of people are saying ABVP students are rahe the, wo na rahe.
We can't accept this at all. Let's be clear on this. Issue is not Afzal Guru. Issue is when you say इस देश के टुकड़े करेंगे, हम इस देश की बर्बादी चाहते हैं।
उनके कहने से क्या होता है?
नो हो कहने से शुरू होता है। नहीं, कहने से शुरू होता है।
I'm posing a question, Mr. Singh, 1 second. Please don't confuse us with somebody else. We can talk with a lower volume. We can talk with. Let's all take. There's a glass of water next to you. Let's all drink some water.
No, glass of water.
I'm only saying one thing. That are we? And let me ask Professor Mukherjee this: are we an insecure nation? I mean, should we let, and look, I found the slogans objectionable as well. I found the slogans objectionable as well. But I think India is a much stronger country than to be frightened by a few slogans.
Absolutely.
So, how does this reflect on us as a state and as a democracy?
When you started off, you said there are many kinds of nationalism. There are nationalisms and nationalism. And one kind that was spoken about, the fascist nationalism, where you create a vague idea of nationalism and then whip up mob hysteria, and with that mob hysteria you smash any opposition. They did it exactly like this. Get at the intellectuals, get at the universities. This is Hitler's Germany. Get at the communists, get at the socialists, and you are seeing a repeat of that. The incident in JNU, where I have taught and lived for 40 years, is so minor. It happens. I mean, this has happened all the time. As a student in St. Stephen's, half my class was Naxalite. And did we put them in jail?
But people,
most of
people can still find it offensive.
They raise slogans.
People can find it offensive, even though you're saying
no, I'm
it's
telling
minor.
you, they find
it
them offensive.
A lot of people have been offended
I found it offensive.
Yeah.
Their slogan was Chairman Mao is our chairman. But what, did we put them in jail? We debated with them, and most of them have ended up as social activists. They've contributed to nation building. That is what has happened in JNU for the last 40 years. We've had people of various opinions. My students have been RSS, my students have been on the opposite side, and we are proud.
Okay, before I get Saurabh and
only one thing I want to say.
Yeah.
What this kind of whipping up of nationalism has done is you picked on a poor boy, a son of a farmer, of which we are proud. His mother is a Anganwadi worker. Total monthly income is 3,000 rupees. और सारी अपनी nationalism उस पे दिखा रहे हैं आप. This is the terrorist. You can't find your terrorists in Pathankot. They walk through your borders. They walk through your military establishments. वहाँ पे नहीं आप काम कर सकते. All your मर्दानगी 56 inch की छाती is being shown in JNU. I'm ashamed that my university should be maligned all over the country.
Okay, no, Manish, give me a second. I just want to, because we have students from all over the country. We have, one second, Mr. Singh.
Nobody is
I
maligning
just want to go across to
Subramanian
Xavier's in
Swami
Bombay,
he says,
Mumbai.
shut down JNU for 4 months. And he says, fumigated. हम कीड़े मकोड़े हैं. Fumigate कर दो JNU को. ये Subramanian Swami, ये लेखिए Times of India.
Okay, let me come back to you. Gentlemen, let me just come back to you. Let me go to Xavier's. Okay, let me go across to you, Saurabh. I'll come back to you. Please, let's hear what students across India have to say. Saurabh, one second. Mr. Singh, and Saurabh, I'll just come to you as well. Let me go across to Saurabh in Mumbai, my colleague there. Saurabh, you've got students from Xavier's with you. Let's just go across and hear what they have to say about this entire debate. Saurabh.
Well, a lot of students here in Mumbai also have organized some kind of solidarity protests with JNU. given the fact that what has happened is not something that they've not condoned the slogans that have been made. What they're saying is that the way in which JNU has been targeted is something that should be stopped. And I have some students here with me from St. Xavier's. You know, what do you have to say about what's going on? Because Kanhaiya Kumar has been attacked in court and there's still not enough evidence of whether he's actually said it or not.
I totally condemn this act by central government in JNU because they are not even sure whether these were JNU students who raised those slogans, and raising slogans isn't anti-national according to me.
Okay.
So we just need to redefine either the definition of sedition or we need to remove it.
Right. What about you?
I think it clearly shows a transformation of the present government from a communal one to a fascist one, because whether it's JNU, whether it's Central University in Hyderabad, whether it's in IIT Madras or IIT Delhi or SRTI, Satyajit Ray Institute, everywhere we see the government trying to clamp down on freedom of expression using the vague concept of sedition. And what happened in court was a sheer absolute breakdown of law and order. It can't be allowed in a civilized society, leave alone a democracy.
What about you?
Yeah, so I mean, as you said, like whatever is happening, it's actually scary for us students also and for everybody. You're not sure, you don't have any evidence first of all, and secondly, how can you identify in a crowd who raised those slogans? And then secondly, you personally targeted them. Some of them were called like some agents of some terrorist organization having links somewhere, and then everything was like found out to be a planted story. So I was seeing the videos also that were done, like doing rounds on Twitter, and in the way they were attacked, it was not something that can be done in a civilized society.
The problem is actually with the way in which JNU was attacked, the way in which Kanhaiya Kumar was attacked, and along with Kanhaiya Kumar, the way in which many in the media were attacked. And that's something that actually students seem to have a problem with. The slogans, well, yes, there is a divided opinion on that. But obviously, what is worrying for the students here is the attack, the physical attack, and the violence unleashed in court. And in other places.
And I think that's an important distinction we need to make, and we have been trying to make. I just want to go quickly first to IIT Madras, where my colleague Sam is standing by, and then to Jadavpur University with Monideepa. Sam, to you first, what is the student community saying there on the IIT campus today?
Well, thank you, Nidhi. Not long ago, students at the IIT Madras faced a similar problem when the Ambedkar Periyar circle there was temporarily de-recognized, and they saw it as an attempt to curb freedom of expression. And I have with me Akhil, Setu and Ratnika. Thank you all very much for your time. Who defines who is anti-national?
The point of looking at what anti-national is, as currently seen by the BJP government, is inherently flawed. That what is the very understanding of nation? So someone like Nehru would see it as the people. So it is the people who are nation. If there is a certain section of these people who have issues with the government, who have problem with the way in which the Indian state has acted, it is obviously that they can raise those voices. Any government who try to curb it by saying it's anti-national is making conceptual flaw. Like it sees only a certain symbols as nation, not as the people.
Setu, who is a nationalist, or who qualifies to be a nationalist?
Like Akhil said, a nationalist is who belongs to the nation and has his or her concerns for the nation. Like that is all you can say. You cannot, deny somebody nationality just because he is, has an opinion that is of dissent, which is not against the majoritarian view.
Right. Ratnika, nobody knows whether Kanhaiya had made those anti-national slogans, but looking at the way the crackdown was invoked, the Sedition Act was invoked against him, how would you look at that?
Anti-nationalism by itself should be condemned, and like he said, how we define it and who defines it becomes important. In this issue, however, I personally feel Mr. Kumar was merely trying to unite the student community against divisive politics. So arresting him for sedition is taking it too far.
And we require space on campuses to dissent, to discuss any issues, however controversial it may be.
There is a space in campus. The students should be allowed to voice their opinions, but their intention they might say, in this issue, anti-national slogans were made, and that should be condemned. But the intention of students may not always be to, incite hatred against the government.
Thank you all for your time. So Chennai is speaking out in a very clear and intelligent way, if we may call it so.
Let me just go across to Monideepa and Jadavpur University in Bengal, because again we've seen Monideepa, again from different sides of the ideological divide, protests taking place at Jadavpur University today. Give us a sense of what students are saying there.
Okay, Nidhi, let me just start with one clarification. Since I'm on campus, most of the students here, and I wouldn't put a percentage to it, but many students here are supporting JNU, KANHAIYA, and I could not find somebody from the other side who could speak with us this evening. But I will tell you that the BJP has gone and filed a PIL at the Calcutta High Court saying that what happened at Jadavpur University 2 days ago must be investigated. Anti-national slogans were shouted. That must be investigated, perhaps if needed, by the NIA. And they have said that teachers also should be investigated for the influence they have on the students. But let me go straight to Nandita over here. Nandita, if you would come forward. She's a PhD student. Who decides who is a nationalist? Today we heard the ABVP saying that anti-national slogans were shouted on the campus.
Well, that's the question, like you put it, that who decides what is national and what is anti-national. And although one might not necessarily agree with what you are saying, for example, or what I am saying, it doesn't mean that you do not have the right to express your opinion.
So, RSS, is that, the slogans that you guys were shouting today was against the RSS and the ABVP, but they too surely have a right to be nationalists.
Of course, everybody has a right to express their opinion, but when those expressions start impinging upon the choices of people, then that becomes problematic, because it becomes a blanket term. It becomes dangerous for a democracy, and we are the largest democracy in the world. It becomes extremely dangerous and divisionist.
Arithro here is with the SFI. Arithro, your view on this. A fringe group, that's what your Vice Chancellor has said, shouted slogans about Afzal Guru, about Kashmir, day before yesterday, which is why there's so much tension on your campus today. Do you think they were anti-national slogans? What would you say to the RSS and BJP, which is saying it was anti-national?
See, first, the SFI doesn't support those slogans because they hurt sentiments of some of the students who are present here, but that does not mean that we have the monopoly to decide what nationalism or anti-nationalism is. However, we believe that this binary division of nationalism and anti-nationalism is meant to create a division, a diversion from the key issues, the key problems the people are facing in India today.
Okay, these young students over here, actually he's an ex-student, they're here to sing, and they would rather tell you what they feel in the words that they have of this song. Go for it.
Just what is it you're fighting for? You call and say, don't say a thing.
The streets of the national capital today saw an unprecedented turnout of students and universities from across the national capital, in fact many from outside as well, all for one big name: free Kanhaiya Lal and drop out all sedition charges against all JNU students. It's been the protest march, we started at Mandi House this morning, continues to happen as we speak here, right outside Parliament Street Police Station as well. And a massive turnout. I just want to go straight. Now students have come here wearing these t-shirts saying Mera Yaar Kanhaiya Kumar, others carrying flowers. I want to ask you, they smell great and you look great in them, but who are they for?
They are for peace, but today I realized that not many people support peace. While I was on my way, I offered some to the Delhi police, and I don't want to repeat what they said.
Yeah, what did they say?
Ghar le jao, ghar le jao. मैं तो फूल दे रही थी.
Why did you want Delhi police to have them?
I was offering it to anybody on the way, but they were the ones who said no.
All right. I've also got this gentleman here who's been raising the national flag. आप बहुत बड़ा सा झंडा लेकर यहाँ पर लहरा रहे हैं, लेकिन आजकल झंडा लेके लोगों को मार भी रहे हैं. तो ये पेट्रियोटिज्म, नेशनलिज्म का डेफिनेशन कैसे डिफाइन होगा?
ये जो सिंबोलिज्म की राजनीति चल रही है, ये आरएसएस स्पॉन्सर्ड है, और भारत के जो लोग हैं वो इस चीज़ को नकार रहे हैं. जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी के जो मूल्य हैं उसके साथ हम लोग खड़े हैं, और वो राजद्रोह का जो डेफिनीशन है वो ही गलत है हमारे हिसाब से. और मैं साइंस का विद्यार्थी हूँ, पहली बार यहाँ पर आया हूँ, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि हमारा कन्हैया एकदम निर्दोष है और उसे जानबूझकर फंसाया गया है।
जानबूझ के फंसाया गया है. I also have students with me. You know, the atmosphere here is quite charged up. I see everybody with their own slogan. Everybody saying, "I am Kanhaiya. You know, arrest me as well." But isn't this fight? The sense I get is more about the ethos of what JNU stands for.
Yes, it is about ethos. Like, we believe in dissent. It's right to dissent JNU, and also we believe in debate. We are open for all type of ideas. It's not that we brand somebody for holding some kind of idea. We just believe that everyone has their space and they have their right to express their ideas, and that is what JNU.
And you think this entire idea is being killed now? More and more people are trying to sabotage. Is that the feeling here?
Yes, they are trying to just impose one kind of idea, one kind of nation and one kind of nationalism, which we are not going to accept. It's our JNU, it's our nation. We will define what is JNU, what is nation.
Saurabh, let me ask you as a student leader yourself.
Yes.
Now you saw mixed views there from your own colleagues in various campuses, and you had that young girl saying that she doesn't agree with that kind of sloganeering, but if the heavy hand of the state comes down on students, if it affects their democratic choices, they don't agree with that.
See, the problem is we are going away from what happened on 9th of February. First of all, who is here who is denying that day there were slogans for tearing India apart? These slogans were raised in JNU, and this is not for the first time. These slogans were raised in JNU for last 3 years, 4 years. And when we complained about this in our university or in the police, nobody took action. And whatever we have seen on 9th was a consequence of what you did not do in last few years. See, if you want to talk about you have not taken, you have never taken the action against those people who were raising slogan against India. And
but will you take action as per the law of the country? Or
yes, that is what I am saying.
That is your own wisdom.
See, that is what we are saying from the on the 9th of February, that all those students who organized the program where the slogans were raised against India, and those students who are seen clearly in the videos who are raising slogans, those students should be booked under the law of the land.
So there is nothing that is in the videos that is seditious.
And let the court take its course. If those person whoever is arrested, if that person is clean, he will come out. But if you are saying that Umar is not a terrorist, today students came out and you are saying that Umar is not a terrorist. What is this?
How do you know he's a terrorist?
That is the person.
How do you know? What is the proof?
I'm not saying.
You're just sitting and labeling.
I'm not saying that person is a terrorist or what. But
no, you are just saying he's a terrorist.
No.
What is your proof that he's a terrorist?
The first day you were condemning. First day you are condemning whatever happened on that day. Secondly, the organizer, one of the prominent organizers, Umar, he shouted the slogan there. He even justified the thing. He even justified the thing, whatever happened on that day on media channels. So many media channels. Still you are saying, he has raised the slogan like Pakistan Zindabad, India. And still you are saying that he is not anti-national, and you are saving that person in the disguise of save JNU.
Just 1 second. Because your colleague, your former colleague of the ABVP is in the studio with us, and he resigned from the ABVP in JNU yesterday. 1 second, I cannot shout louder than you. I think your name is Praveen?
Yeah, Pradeep.
Oh, Pradeep. Yeah. Sorry. Pradeep, you resigned your post at JNU yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys issued a very strong statement about why you did that. Why were you were raising your hand to interrupt Saurabh. Why?
The thing is, I say whatever happened in JNU was very bad. And whosoever responsible for that should be held responsible as per the code. But the thing is, let me interpret in between. The thing is, there's a person, I don't want to name him. 3 years back, he also got arrested on some charges. There was one person in JNU who got arrested 3 years back on some charges.
Yes.
He went to jail. Now he came back. I want to ask you one thing. Why there is a media trial in this case? You are saying he is a terrorist. You are saying in front of national media.
You just said it.
So let me tell you one thing. The thing is, the repercussion of that, then whole of the nation, what people are doing. circulating his pictures on Facebook. I'm not saying he's not guilty or whether he's guilty. Let the due process of take its place of law.
That is what we are saying.
But thing is, if you're using a word terrorist, he linked to terrorist, either he's not linked to. The thing is, he's totally you're making a media trial, first of all.
We are not making.
Lynched by the mob.
Yes, you are.
We are not making.
By putting his picture all over the place. He's my student, I would like to protect him.
ABVP has not done such things, first of all.
Sir, one more thing.
I just want to hear him out. I want to understand. Why did you leave One second.
You can't name anyone like that. Saurav, let me speak for a second.
This is not
acceptable. Why did you resign your ABVP position yesterday?
Even our students were beaten on that day, 9th of
Basically, the position of establishment, the position of government is not correct on this issue.
Why?
The thing is, mob in front of courts, media got beaten. Mob are beating up KANHAIYA and many more persons. Let the court decide what you can say Delhi police is doing, what establishment is doing. Few days back, our professor got beaten in front of that court. One of BJP MLA OP Sharma beaten some person, and he changed his stand 3 times in that case. So what do you call him? What do you call people coming out in streets taking the flag of this country, which is a very pure flag. A flag says, "Come on, you should have faith in constitution of this country." And now what are you doing with that flag? In name of that flag, you are just spreading hooliganism in this country. Is that not anti-national? That's I want to ask here.
With very strong words, let me get Mr. Ratan Sharda, who's joining us from Mumbai. And Mr. Sharda, he's a member of the RSS. Mr. Sharda, when you hear these differing opinions, and you hear a former member of the ABVP saying he doesn't agree with the slogans, he found them objectionable and the law should take its own course one way or the other as far as that case is concerned. But he doesn't agree with the establishment's response. He doesn't agree with the way the Delhi police has handled this and the hooliganism we've seen in the court. Mr. Sharda.
Nidhi, thank you. I thought you had forgotten that I was sitting here in a studio.
No, apologies, sir. We went to the students first.
Sir, so many things said. First of all, you started with this young ABVP, ex-ABVP guy. I have no problem. Anybody can have difference of opinion. He doesn't agree with an opinion. I have no problem at all. Problem is that when you try to equate freedom of opinion and with, when you try to equate nation with government, it's very bad precedent. You can oppose government, you can criticize government, you can criticize PM Modi. Some girls during the last session called him worse names than whatever you can call on media. I can't even repeat it. So you cannot equate nation with state or government. That's point one that all the students should understand.
Yeah,
so there is a difference between criticizing, breaking down a nation, you talked of violence. Do you know the slogans also included that we will do it with guns and all that? I don't want to repeat all the slogans. People have seen all those videos all around. Coming back to all the participants had said earlier, I have Honorable Mr. Manish Tiwari, quoting something from way 2 centuries back. Let me quote something much more recent. The first amendment to Sedition Act was done by Pandit Nehru because he had a problem with one judgment against a left, one judgment in favor of a left, Romesh Thapar, and on the right against Organizer Weekly. So he was very upset, and his first amendment to Constitution and to Sedition was done by Pandit Nehru, their own party leader, their god. Coming to the people who are talking of fascism and all that, let me tell you, this Marxist Parivar who worship Mao, Lenin, Stalin, huge portraits put in their offices, they have themselves killed 200 million people during the reign of so-called dictatorship or proletariat. They have killed, Stalin and Lenin killed 35 million, Mao killed 70 million, 2 million out of 7 million Kampuchea were killed by Khem Roj. So this talk of freedom of expression, talk of dictatorship, talk of democracy is something that doesn't suit this Marxist Parivar. Now look at JNU students. In 1999 around, they beat up 2 police officers so badly they nearly died. They were in ICU for days together. In 2010, they celebrated killing of CRPS Jawans in Naxalite areas by dancing throughout the night. And now they didn't allow Ramdev to speak. What kind of freedom of opinion or expression they're talking about? Come to more recent. You talk of fascism. Fascism is not allowing somebody else to speak. So you have in Nehru, if JNU is the center of intellectual terrorism, communist fascism, where you don't
and
allow.
Completely, absolute
Please listen, I have listened to
sir.
all
No,
of
I just want one second, Mr.
Sharda.
You're calling it the center of intellectual terrorism. There are 55 Government of India bureaucrats who have graduated from JNU. Nirmala Sitharaman is from JNU. Foreign Secretary Jaishankar is from JNU. Are they all intellectual terrorists?
You don't allow academics to be chosen who have alternative views.
No, I'm
but
saying
then you are
you're
I am
labeling
talking
an entire
people
institution.
who have spoiled JNU. These are teachers who did not allow anybody with alternative view to be selected as a teacher.